Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are having an awesome day. It is time for Jots Tittles with Lauren Grace. This week's book of the week is not The Bodyguard's Boss, and it's one of the books where I actually fulfilled my daughter's request to put in multiples. Actually, there's two sets of multiples. There's a set of twins and a set of triplets. So this is the joy of being a twin mom. They dictate what you put in your books on occasion, which is really kind of fun. So I want to tell you a story. If you are a member of my newsletters, you probably read this like way back in the very first newsletters I sent you. If you aren't, then go to laurengrace.com and subscribe on my newsletter. It is a story of Mrs. Renard. And Mrs. Renard was in her 80s when she published her first book. She had been my high school English teacher my junior year of high school. And for those of you not in the U.S., that's your second to last year. And she recognized that there was a writer inside of me, even though there wasn't a speller inside of me, and allowed me to use a little spelling dictionary on all of my papers and things. The time dysgraphia wasn't as well known as dyslexia, and both of them were just barely starting to be treated and accommodated for. So this woman kept telling me, you can write. And every teacher I had for the past 10 years had told me I couldn't write because I couldn't spell, even though I had stories inside of me. When I went back to my 20-year high school reunion, I found Mrs. Renard. It was before she published this book. And so she was in her mid-80s already. And she asked me, what have you written? And I'm like, well, I have stories in my mind, but I haven't written any. And she's like, why not? I'm finishing my first book. And we talked for quite a while, and she gave me this really gorgeous fountain pen that her husband who had passed had given to her. And about 2 years later, she emailed me and let me know that her very first book, Death in Time, I don't know if it's even still in print, was out. And I'm like, if Mrs. Renard can do this in her late 80s, why don't I write the book she always felt I had in me? So I did finally write and publish a book, and you can see Waking Lucy over this shoulder. Where is it? Right there. And I dedicated it to Mrs. Renard because she was the first English teacher that really had faith in me that I knew of, that I could be something more than the girl who couldn't spell any words. So that is my little inspirational story. There's a longer one in the newsletter, I think, or a slightly different version of it. But I'm very thankful to those people who've inspired me in my life and said, you can still do things even though other people don't think you can. I hope you have a great day and an awesome week.